The most important thing we can do for our kids is to teach them how to love themselves, how to be a strong, confident person, how to think of themselves as lovable, valuable, worthy. But if you don't have that as a mom, you can't teach your kids that. Our issues with self-love, especially in women, often come from how we were raised and how our mothers modeled it, grandmothers, and a lot of us struggles with self-love and self-acceptance. We are very good in covering it up, but inside we really do struggle with it. We are absolutely amazing in taking care of everybody else and doing everything for other people, but when it comes to us, taking care of ourselves, taking a break when we need it, we're not very good at it because it feels selfish to do that, because that's what we were taught, that it's selfish to take care of yourself. Self-care is a very important component of self-love. It's not all that there is to it. I want to share with you how I was able to change my mindset around myself and love myself more, feel more in peace and confident with myself. And unfortunately, it took me about 30 years to learn all this, but there's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. Self-love is basically the mindset that you have about yourself, how you view yourself, how do you value yourself in the world. And a lot of the times that is built upon how we were raised, what was modeled for us, our attachment style, and different traumas and different things that we went through our life. A lot of the times we use things like self-criticism or people-pleasing, imposter syndrome to protect ourselves, because we think, oh, if I'm already so hard on myself, if I'm prepared for failure, it's not going to hurt so much. If somebody criticizes myself and I've already criticized myself in my own head, it's not going to hurt so much. But really, this is not a very practical, beneficial way to go through life, and this is definitely not a way to teach your kids to be confident and love themselves. They are just watching and absorbing and hearing everything we say and do, even if it's not directly to them. And raising strong children that are confident and love themselves and trust themselves is so important, because if they do that, then they are less likely to be manipulated by other people, and the influence of other people is not going to have such an impact on them. The very important component of self-love is self-compassion. We often offer so much self-compassion and understanding to other people, but not ourselves. And I know this sounds cheesy, but you have to start treat yourself as your absolute best friend who knows and understands you like your soulmate, and then give yourself the same understanding and compassion and love that you would have to somebody else. And then if you have a bad day, or if you fail, or if you yell at your kids, if you're able to offer your self-compassion, you bounce back so much quicker. You just move on, offering self-compassion, maybe a little bit of constructive criticism on how to do better next time, but you are able to move on with your life so much faster instead of sitting there and wallowing in self-criticism and just negativity. When you constantly put yourself last, that's the way to burnout. And I've been there, where I just thought that I have to give up on everything and take care of everybody else and have understanding for everybody else but myself. And then at the other side is burnout and depression and the feeling like you just can't go on like this anymore. Another thing that you need to focus on is changing and challenging your negative self-talk. And this is really difficult because a lot of us are just wired to think that way. And I think that's almost as like our nature. When we do something that we think was inappropriate or embarrassing or fail or make a mistake, we're like we just jump into negative self-talk. And sometimes we kind of can't move on from that. You have to build self-awareness around that and be more mindful of how do you speak to yourself, what do you say, and basically notice when that happens, when you're critical and negative in your own head, and stop that and replace it with something more, not necessarily positive. I'm not saying you never have to tell yourself that you need to try better, try harder, learn something new, improve yourself, not at all, but do it in a way that is loving, supportive, constructive, not like negative and bringing yourself down. For example, when I lose my cool and I yell at my kids, I used to be so harsh on myself. I used to tell myself in my own head that I am just a horrible mother. I'm not cut out to be a mother. I cannot never change this. This is too much. This is overwhelming. Now I basically tell myself that this was not your best. Like, you can do better, and you can maybe read this book or the other book, learn how to manage your emotions, your nervous system better. That's how I started learning about all of this. If you want to love yourself more, you also have to let go of perfection. In my head, there used to be this Marysia, me, as a mom, this perfect image of this person that doesn't really exist, and it's impossible for this person to exist. And then I would constantly compare myself to this person. Perfection doesn't exist. Perfection is boring, and you wouldn't want your kids to compare to themselves to somebody who is perfect and constantly feel bad about themselves because they are not perfect. It just doesn't exist. You have to let go of this. You're a human being with mistakes, with traumas, with difficulties, different challenges, and you are doing your best. Another very important component is self-discipline. That is very, very important. You can build self-trust and confidence upon the fact that you do the things you told yourself you're going to do. And you can start small, such as, I'm going to go for a 15-minute walk every single day. I'm going to read for 30 minutes a day. I am going to practice mindfulness for 15 minutes a day. Whatever that is, or not necessarily every day. Whatever that is that you say you're going to do only to yourself, and then you do it, that builds so much character and self-trust. And that's where confidence comes from. That's where you feel like you are capable. I did this just because I told myself I'm going to do it, and you just build trust. Once you start doing all of those things regularly, you are more mindful, you listen to positive affirmations, you tell yourself positive things about yourself, you're stopping negative self-talk, you're doing the things that you said you want to do, you offer yourself self-compassion, you take breaks, you do self-care. You are slowly but surely starting to change your mindset around who you are, and then you're starting to notice more positive things that you do, more successes, more achievements. You're just more wired to notice them, and then you find proof as to why you are loving, lovable, confident, capable, why you deserve forgiveness. You just start to see more of that. Another powerful thing you can do is to reparent yourself. Those are just very small changes that you can do and things you can tell yourself. For example, when my son tells me that he had such a great day playing with his friend, I will go and tell him, yeah, you are such a great friend. Your friends love you. You're so funny. You are so fun to play with. I love spending time with you. Those things build his confidence. He feels good about himself. Like, I'm reinforcing all those things for him. You can do that for yourself. I think a lot of us, we're not parented that way. At least not my parents. My parents were very loving and caring, but they didn't praise me a lot. I think they thought that if they did, I would just feel like I'm perfect, and I would just be like full of myself, and I wouldn't want to improve or work harder. They more focus on the things that I need to improve, and I think things that I'm not doing good enough. I'm like, you're too messy, too lazy, like you're not trying hard enough, you're like, not everything is so easy, things that don't have to come easy. Like, they just didn't build me up that much. So in my head, that just stuck to me, and that's something that I picked up on and started telling myself. That's why I tell my kids otherwise. I don't tell them they're perfect and they don't have to work hard, but I do tell them very positive, mindful things about themselves. And you can do that for yourself too. It's called reparenting. If you want to thrive as a mom, if you want to be the mom that you want to be, you really have to start working on how you view yourself. You have to work on your self-love. That's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, found something interesting, inspiring, learned something new. If you did, please let me know. That helps to boost the content and bring it to more people so we can all learn from each other. Being a mom is not easy. It's a tough job, and thriving as a mom is sometimes, it takes some time to figure it out. I love that I can learn from other people on YouTube, and hopefully you learned something from me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.